Welcome to Let's Talk Games, episode 11. It is. We're in the 1-1s. To your left is Dan, and to your right is Jamie. Today's going to be a short one, but it'll be girthy, so it'll still be worth your time. Today we're going to talk about Mafia Trilogy. Apparently that's come back. I wasn't aware of people asking for it, but I'm pretty excited because I never played them. And we've got the expert here to discuss it. And Valhalla. I'm excited for this one, but I have a discrepancy with massive games. So are we going to discuss if this is going to be smaller? Ubisoft are saying that it is, but other things are saying otherwise. So that's the topics for today. But today we're going to start off with what we've been playing. Dan, I'm going to put it towards you first. I hope you have an answer ready. Go.
So I think I touched upon this at the start of this past week. I finished the second season of Telltale's Batman series. I think I'm with you, Jamie, where Wolf Among Us has always been my favorite season of any Telltale game. I've always loved that. I don't think the first season of Batman Telltale was as good as that, but I think it was in the top range. This second season, once again, I don't know if it's topped it, but the two seasons together is an incredible story. Like, I am blown away by it all in the end, especially thinking back to when I played the first one. I love what they do with the characters and how they stick to what we all know from the characters from comics and from movies and that, but they give it these awesome backstories and the choices that you have, whether it's in the fighting as Batman or the decisions that you make, either being Bruce Wayne or being Batman in certain situations. I think it was just super creative, and I'm so bummed. I was bummed before, but it really sucks that Telltale, as it was, doesn't exist anymore. I hope there's some way that they can re-up a deal and continue on with this franchise that they've created, because I was really, really impressed. And I'm going to sing this one to the rooftops for everyone possible to play it. Because if you even have a marginal interest in Batman, I don't think you can be disappointed in playing this game. Yeah, I was very impressed. You played it, John?
Yep. Yeah, I bought it all on sale. I was selling the whole thing for quite a discount that I couldn't say no to, and I'd never really delved much into these games or Telltale stuff before then. Yeah, I agree. The take on the Batman world in this series was unique. Some of the choices that they made I would never have picked, but turned out to be good. Particularly with the way they did the Joker and stuff. Like that was new in his interaction with Bruce. I really enjoyed that. Almost kind of making Joker kind of half sympathetic or empathetic is probably the best word in some instances. But yeah, I'm pretty bummed that we're not going to get any more of it unless something changes. But very, very, very good. I haven't gone back for another playthrough because, games, too many of them, and I've already done the path that I wanted to do. I was pretty... I didn't use Bruce as much as I thought I would have. I was pretty forceful, like, no, Batman is just going to go do what Batman does. And I used Bruce when I thought it was like really... when you can tell there's a story point that's about to happen and you get the choice to be Bruce or Batman. And there's certain ones that you're like, I have a feeling that this part's going to be a bit more interesting being Bruce, and you just do that. I think that having that choice was cool. I've never played a Batman game where you had that before. So that was good.
Anything in season 2?
Yeah, I don't think that was an option in the first one. It's been ages since I played it though, so I could be wrong.
I haven't played season 2 myself yet, so interesting.
Yeah, it's really, really good.
Yeah, it's just they just get more creative in the second season. I feel like because they've got their footing down, so they get rid of. I think they get rid of the. In the first season, you can choose how to where you take your drone and you go from scene to scene fighting each guy. I think they took that away in the second season. But I think they also give you a lot more choice in the second season with certain stuff as well. And yeah, the character stuff is what I was most impressed with.
Yeah, the story was good
Keep it
too.
honest.
Like I was lucky. I got to play it all, as long as I wanted. I didn't have to wait for the next episode. Like if I wanted to have a few hours or go through half of it in one sitting, I had the choice to do that. So it was great just to plow through it and just be stuck in it and just enjoy the story and not having any detachment. Waiting for months for the next one or whatever. I feel privileged that I didn't have to wait for any of that. But yeah, highly recommend it. Jamie, you should go play it. You're the one that bloody convinced me to buy it. One of these things again. You're like, hey, Sean, this is on sale and it's Batman. You should probably get that. I was like, oh, fuck, all right.
Was it not season 1? I know I've started season 2. I played the first episode. I might see if it's on the PlayStation Store. If it's not too expensive, I'll give it a go because, yeah, I do want to. But your choices you made in season 1 carry over to season 2, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so I'd rather play it on Xbox, so I might just wait for back compat and give it a go later down the line.
Oh yeah, very cool.
But yeah, season 1 was amazing. Really liked season 1, so I'm keen for 2. I just only played the first episode and never really went back to it because those types of games I tend to play rather than episodically. I'll wait for the season to finish and then try and play them all together. Any that I've started with the episodic trend, I fall off or I fall away and forget about it. No, have you played anything else, Tim?
No, because it's a short week. I've only my little 2K burst, but that was a really short burst.
How about you, Jamie? Mine's pretty straightforward. I'll just save mine to last.
Me, this is the week I've played actually less games than I've played before, to be perfectly honest. I played a bit more Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I'm really, really, really enjoying that game. Like you said, Dan, it's been a bit of a shorter week because we're 1, recording early and 2, recorded late last week. So there's not been that many days to get stuff in. Played a bit of Pro Evo on the PlayStation, but other than that, I haven't actually had the PlayStation on, and I haven't really played anything other than Assassin's Creed, and even then, not a lot of Assassin's Creed. I think I'm maybe another 2.5 hours through. No, not been feeling the video games this last week. I think because I'd heavily binged so much stuff the week before. Like I want to platinum Spider-Man, but I just can't bring myself to pick the controller up. And obviously every time we try and play Destiny, like it needs an update or someone decides to just ruin life for us. So one of those things.
Yeah, that's all right. Don't have to play everything every week. You can have a week off. Cleanse the palate, so to speak. Mine's the standard normal.
Animal Crossing.
Yeah, I was about to say it's Animal Crossing, man. Like I got my gold plaque for my house. I've got some awards for my museum now. Yeah, I'm still the samurai warlord. The cat is still sending me messages to my home. It's a life within itself now. So I'm finding myself not playing as much since I've kind of peaked in this game. Now I'm just saving money. So I've got one more house upgrade to go, and I need to pay off a 1.25 million Bell loan until I get the next one. The good thing is when I get my last upgrade, I don't have to pay him back. Like you just don't have to pay him any money. For any upgrade that he gives you for your house, he's like, yeah, just pay it off in your own time. But if you want this next part, you have to pay me back. So in my mind, it's like, well, the next one's going to be $2 million or something. If I get my house finished and he's like, here you go, just pay me back whenever you can, I can just be like, yep, that'll be never, I can probably see myself going, but what happens when you pay him back? Do you get an award or something?
He's a generous dude, though, this Tom Nook guy.
Very. Yeah, and there's no interest to pay. So, in my mind, it's like, God, he's going to, if you pay this last one off, do you get a special, like, super award? And it's probably going to keep me going. But this game still has me by the nuts. But that's me. I haven't been playing anything else. I haven't turned my PS4 on since I finished Spider-Man. Because my next game, I was supposed to finish Life is Strange last weekend, but I didn't even play it. I just wanted a break. So I think I'm on the same page there, Jamie. I was like, yeah, I've smashed a lot of games recently. I'm good just to have a week off. But we'll just jump into some things to get excited about, which might get us playing something. that's coming out soon. One thing that I'm interested in, that I've kind of always been interested in and never delved into, was the Mafia games. So Dan, you mentioned earlier this week, you're like, I want to talk about this because I love it. It's like, all right, let's, because they've just announced that there's the remaster for these games coming out, and they've remade the first one and all this kind of stuff. I remember the first one coming out, and my mate, he was like a heavy PC gamer, and he was playing Mafia on his PC at the time, before it came over to other consoles. And I was like, yeah, whatever. Like, I've never been a PC guy, so I always associated this game as being a PC game, even though I knew it was available elsewhere. But I love that period of time, like that whole American time frame, that mobster stuff, like the 30s and 50s and all that kind of stuff. I love it. So it's been interesting for me to be like, well, why haven't I played this? I really enjoyed that Rockstar one, LA Noire. Like, that's kind of in my vein. So that now they're remaking them, and it looks stunning as hell. This remake is like, hot damn! Like, I'm even excited to go. All right, I'll give this a go. So Jan, can you kind of walk me through my expectations on these games, and should I play them, and should I be excited?
All right, so I think you should be excited. I was just thinking about this earlier today, that it's really funny where you look at a company like EA, right, and everyone has been just like clamoring for like the Mass Effect trilogy to get remastered and that, and they won't do it. And 2K kind of put out this, what was meant to be like a shock announcement, but it kind of leaked everywhere, and then everyone knew about it, so then it wasn't really a shock announcement in the end. But they kind of given everybody this trilogy that no one really thought they needed or wanted until it was there. Like, especially with remastering the first one. So I have actually not played the first one. So the first one was released on PC in 2002, and there was no way I was playing on a PC in 2002. And a lot of people are saying that that's the best one, but
it's a remake,
I don't know if that's just... Yeah, so they've fully remade it from the ground up. I don't know if people are saying that it's the best because it's of nostalgia, and that's where a lot of people heard about it first. But I played 2 and 3. 2 and 3, relative to their console generations, came out roughly in the same period of time, because I think Mafia 2 was out in 2010, and Mafia 3 was out in 2016. So they kind of came in about 5 years into the life cycle, and they both have things in the games which you could knock back. Like, I think Mafia 2, there's not as much to do around the city, and Mafia 3 had some technical issues that it was dealing with, especially at launch, so hopefully that's all fixed up. But they are games that if you are interested in those type of games, you are going to enjoy them. You're going to see past the flaws, and you're just going to enjoy everything it gives you. So the first Mafia game, I think, deals with the 30s, which you were talking about, Chunt, and then Mafia 2, it kind of opens in the 30s, but you don't play in the 30s, but you mainly go through the 40s and the 50s through the story. And Mafia 3 is set in the 60s down in New Orleans. Well, their version of New Orleans. And the stories in at least the 2 and 3 are just spectacular.
Really?
I remember
I keep hearing bad things about the third one.
No, the story is probably one of the best stories of this gen. I would put it up against.
Wow.
There was a really interesting time when I played it back in 2016, because I just come off watching that first season of Luke Cage, and then there's stuff in Mafia 3 because it deals with racism in it, and in really interesting ways. Like, if you're down in the hollows, and someone sees you doing a crime, a pedestrian will go to a phone box, call the police, and the police will go, if it's in the hollows, they'll go, yeah, we'll get there when we can, ma'am. Like, thanks for the call. And then if you go into sort of the middle class, they might send a squad car or something. And then if you're in the high class area, they'll send like cars and cars straight away to come and get you because of a crime, because you play as an African American vet coming back from the Vietnam War. And in Mafia 2, the story in that is also, it's very typical gangster films that you probably would see in your Goodfellas and your
Hell
and your
yeah.
Godfathers. But it's really well balanced. It flows really well. It's a semi-open world. You drive around in it. There's not as much to do in that world, but you still can upgrade your. You can get different suits and upgrade your cars and stuff like that. But it's more the story that hooks you and keeps you in there. So I'm kind of bummed that the first Mafia is not coming out until August. But I already have Mafia 3. I'm probably just going to buy the trilogy for $100, which I think it's on the PlayStation Store, because I think Mafia 2 is just $50 and Mafia 3 is technically $50 there, which I think I can upgrade for free. And they haven't got the price for the first Mafia, which is probably going to be 60 or something. So I might as well just buy the trilogy and just make sure I have it for whenever I want to play it.
Except the Mafia 2 Definitive Edition's out now, isn't it? I think I tagged you in something the other day.
Yeah, so that got released on the announcement day, as as Mafia 3. They both got released on day and date, but the remake of the first Mafia is coming out on late August 28th or something like that.
Right. Interesting. So Mafia 3, that was this gen or last gen, was it? I can't remember. It's
this gen, 2016.
Yeah, right. Okay. So what's the upgrade for 3 then? Is there
they give you all of the DLC packs, which I never played.
Oh, cool.
All included in there, and it's not that upgraded. They've clearly done a remaster and just upped the textures on the second one, and totally remade the first one.
Cool, awesome. Well, I'm sold. If it's like $100 or whatever, you get 3 games. I'll just put them on my backlist of stuff.
If they said how they're going to monetize it, because if you purchase it now, right, you get Mafia 2 like now. Is that right?
You can buy it now.
You can buy the whole trilogy now.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So is that the price of one full retail game? So it's like $60, $100, like.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
for all 3.
Yeah, and that type of stuff does it interests me a bit. I mean, I haven't played the All Sinner 3. I think was maybe. Did you review it, Dan? Back in the gameplay.
Yes, I did.
I'd seen that. I'm into the whole like espionage spy kind of thriller thing. Like Chunt said, it gave me vibes of like what was the Rockstar game? You literally just said what it was called.
LA Noire.
LA Noire, that's the one. Wow. That was really good. But this, I don't know, something never clicked with me, to be perfectly honest. Like, so maybe going back right to the start. I mean, I saw the screens from the remaster and remake. Sorry, that thing we were saying the other week, remake, remaster. Like there is clearly a difference. So this is a remake. Might be a good place to to get involved. I mean, is the gameplay? Am I looking at literally sort of Grand Theft Auto but gangsters?
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I kind of appreciate it, because it was another game like a Grand Theft Auto that wasn't Grand Theft Auto, because everyone kind of veers away from that because they don't want to be compared. Mafia 3 has more systems going with it, like you take over territories and assign them to your underbosses, and if you favor one too many, another one will get really pissed off and might betray you and shit like that. So they have, Mafia 3 does a bit with it. It's not perfect, but it does a bit with it. Do you find that this is strange that 2K is the only one that's kind of doing this like shadow drop of games, right? Like, it's a perfect time to release something like this, because there's no other games right now until later in our winter. But I just thought it was a really good time for them to drop news like this.
It was a bit random, wasn't it? Like, I didn't see it coming. It was just one of those. This is a thing now. Surprise. I guess you're probably right. Like, now is a good window and nothing's happening, but I think it's might be a bit more involved in that with other studios, depending on what they're doing and how their working situation is, and what's on hold until further notice, kind of thing. This was probably further along than a lot of other things, and they just thought, all right, we can do a staggered release. Like, if we're not gonna I would have thought. I just think it's weird how you just mentioned that 2's out now, 3 can get an upgrade, but you have to wait for 1. Like I think maybe originally, I'm just surmising that maybe the original plan was put them all out at once, just as a boom, like mic drop kind of thing. Here's 3 games all at once, and then now you've got to kind of build up the hype again for when the first one gets released. You know, I don't know. I'm not.
Is there
an
a
expert.
direct correlation between the story? Like I'm proper like vanilla here. Like I've got no idea about the kind of throughput of any kind of storyline.
That's a good point. Like, why would you play 2 now and then go back and play the first one if they're
there's
connected?
Story consequences. Yeah.
So they're not really connected. So there are little hints in each game regarding other games. So, for instance, the guy, it's not really a spoiler, the guy that you play as in Mafia 2 is one of your underbosses in Mafia 3.
Oh, that's cool.
So you play, yeah, and then I think there's a mission in Mafia 2 where you go to kill someone and it's a character from the first one, but there's nothing ever that's actually tangentially related to the other ones. They're all different stories.
Right.
So you can play any of them in any order.
That's all right then. It's not like Mass Effect in that regard then.
No,
but man,
no.
talking to like just touch on remakes, far out. That's one they need to do. It's remake them all. Imagine if that was all in Unreal, and this new engine that's coming out, Unreal 5. Like, imagine if they remade Mass Effect for Unreal 5. Oh, that'd be so hot. But yeah, I'll calm myself down. But yeah, look, I'm excited, keen, whatever. I'll go watch some Scorsese movies before I play them and get myself in the mood.
Absolutely.
You know.
Yeah.
Cool. Oh yeah. All right. Well, that's enough on that one. I think we're pretty on the ball with that. And Dan is shining a light on that. If there's anything else you want to talk about on that one, we can move along.
No, let's move on.
Cool. All right. Valhalla. Look, we're going to touch on this a little bit. I have some thoughts about these massive games. I've mentioned it a few times in passing with you guys and other people. I have a problem with massive games because I get to the point where I look at the map and there's all the stuff on it, all these useless icons, all these pointless side quests and fetch quests, and it's just like, I can't be bothered. And Assassin's Creed Origins was like that for me. That was the last game. That was a big game like that with a massive map where, you know, map fatigue is real on that one, where you get forced into a point where you have to do these missions in order to level up so you can actually continue the main quest. So my issue here is they're discussing whether Valhalla is going to be a smaller game than the Odyssey was. So my understanding of Odyssey is it like the common thread that I did look into it a bit. Conversations about the game was like, yeah, it's an amazing game, but it's just too big. It's just too much in it. Too daunting a prospect to complete it or get through it. And I can relate to that. Whereas I've played games that are much smaller and I just can't be bothered. So the discussion of Valhalla being smaller, which Ubisoft mentioned, what does that mean? Like, is it just the map is smaller, or is it the content that's more focused? I thought it'd be interesting to discuss on that aspect if you have anything to add on that. What's your feeling on that? What are you looking forward to? What are you hoping Valhalla has in there? I, for one, just going to throw it out there now. I hope it's not a map fatigue game. I hope it's not just chock-a-block full of missions that you have to do to progress. I want the main quest line to be accessible without hindrance, and I like all the side stuff to be optional. That's what I want, because I'm so looking forward to this game. I don't want to get disappointed like I was with Origins, which I do hope to go back to. I bought it on sale recently for like $20 or whatever. So we'll see how we go. But Jamie, you've been playing Odyssey. What are your thoughts on this topic? And I know you're kind of all about, you know, checklists and doing stuff in games and progression and all that kind of thing. So what do you see for Valhalla?
I think that in a way, I don't mind the way that Odyssey's been structured. It's massive. It's ridiculous. And I think I said to you guys the other day, I think I've just hit the point of the game now where the power creep and the need to be at level has just happened. So I'm now 3 levels under the next main campaign mission, and you do feel an XP throttle. So it's like I'll go do a side mission and I'll maybe think in Spider-Man, right? We've obviously talked about that a lot over the last few weeks. But in Spider-Man, if you're you stay on level for the majority of the game just if you play the story, right? You don't really fall behind level with that game. But if you did a side mission, you'd get, 1,500 experience, and then every level was maybe 5,000, 6,000 experience-ish for the majority of the game. Assassin's Creed, again, you'll get 1,500 experience for doing a side quest, or, if you kill a mercenary, it's like 30 or 40 experience points, but the bar does not fill up very quickly. So knowing that I'm 3 levels under the game meta, like, it's like, right, I need to go do side quests, I need to go do side stories and side missions to kind of level up just to play that next story mission. It's frustrating, and I hope that is taken away or reduced somewhat. If there's missions that play into the game, do you know what I mean? If it actually progresses the main narrative, but it's a side quest, which Odyssey has got quite a few of, actually. It's like, we need to... so the whole premise of that game is to destable the Empire, right? You're destabling Athenian strongholds and making sure, as Spartans, you can invade. So to do that, you have to take out the leaders. You have to burn out their resources and everything. So some of the side quests that you get sent on will either have a bunch of resources that you can burn. It'll have a key captain of their army that you can take out, and then it'll trigger a big old battle. So that side of it makes sense. What is terrible is the XP throttling, especially when they sell XP boosters in the store. So I want to see all of that removed in Valhalla. Storytelling can stay the same, mission structure can stay the same, world building can stay the same. That is all actually really, really good. But the XP throttle to get yourself back on level with the content is the stuff that I think really needs to be looked at. And I think if Ubisoft have learned anything, it's that they need to remove the XP boosters from that store. That's the only thing I really want to see them take away, because everything else I think they're doing a great job on.
Right on. Yeah, look, I agree with you there. The whole point of the boosters, the XP stuff, and the store and the credits, like, it's all the monetization in these games. And I noticed that with Origins, which was the first one I came back to after like Black Flag and Syndicate, where those had that in there as well. You could buy XP boosters and stuff, and I was already cringing at it, but it just got worse over each one. So yeah, I agree with you there. They need to get rid of that shit. It's just like building the game purposely to make you want to get the boost. Like, it's all that incentivizing the fact that you should go and buy this booster pack to make your game experience better. Yeah, totally disagree with it. But Dan, what is your thoughts on this? Are you even a massive fan of these maps that fatigue me so much?
Yes, I think the ones that have affected me the most is Odyssey and Witcher. Those were the ones that there was just so much popped up on the map, and I get overwhelmed, and then I stop after a couple of hours. With this question, though, I actually outsourced it tonight. I was in the car with my brother, who's been playing Odyssey, and he just plays games like here and there. He doesn't follow gaming at all. He basically relies on me to tell him if there's anything good coming out. And I asked him, so I led with a comment. I'm like, apparently the new Valhalla is going to have a smaller map. And I'm like, how do you feel about it? Does that make you feel good, indifferent, or angry, or upset? And he was basically indifferent. He said the thing that frustrates him, he doesn't care how big that map size is. He was more frustrated that the story doesn't really take you around to a lot of the islands because they're all side mission stuff. And so he, I think, likes to be led, and that makes me think of, if you even think of old games like San Andreas, right? Yeah. That whole story leads you around every part of that map just by following the story through, and then you go off and do stuff. I kind of wish open worlds would do that a little bit more. And as they're getting bigger, it's getting harder for people to figure out where to send people in the map. But I don't mind that if Odyssey is smaller. I don't mind if Valhalla is smaller. I don't mind if Valhalla is roughly the same size. But you just got to make, as long as they use the map and direct you in a good way. It's funny that you guys are talking about the experience throttling, because the first thing he says, like the thing I hate about the game is that, you know, I finished the story pretty quickly in level 50, and then I went to do New Game Plus, and he hated that when he started the game at level 50, all of the enemies on the first island were level 50 when he started the game again. And he's like, it just takes so long to upgrade. So it's funny that you brought that up, Jamie, because it's exactly the same thing.
That's what I mean. They play into one another, right? So the whole thing around map fatigue is they litter the map with a bunch of crap to do. Like, is that crap meaningful, or is it just to gain XP? If it's just to gain XP, I don't have an issue with it. I'm all for it, as Chunt said. I like a big map with loads of shit to do where I can kind of sit there and go, what do I want to do this evening? I'll clear out all of the bandit camps, or, you know, whatever it might be. I remember doing that in Horizon, you know, just going around cleaning out all the bandit camps, get the trophy for it, cool, on to the next thing. And I think I leveled about 5 levels just doing those bandit camps in Horizon. So if you get something like that out of having a map that's full of all this stuff to do, great. But the fact that you go and do it and you don't feel like you get a reward at the end of it, that's where the fatigue kicks in. And I know, like, Dan, Chunt, you both get overwhelmed by maps, kind of things popping up everywhere. And it's like, oh, I can't be arsed with this. Whereas I can kind of remove it from that and either take the main story path or go off and explore. Like, that's just how I play games. But that's where it really gets me. It's the exact same thing as you were just talking about. Like, if I'm not going to get the XP and the reward for what I'm doing that mission for, why the hell bother in the first place? So why does it exist?
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, Spider-Man did it awesome. Like, I didn't feel at any point doing the random side quests or the events, or, you know, going to this marker to do this mission or whatever, I didn't feel like it was a hindrance. It felt like it had something to do within the world and the story that I was going through. And Syndicate was the same. Like, that was the last Assassin's Creed game that I thoroughly enjoyed, where I 100%ed the map. Like, I loved that game so much. And I think that's the only Assassin's Creed game, maybe besides 2, that I've actually done everything on the map. And so that did it right. And so when I jumped into Origins and I was getting all these hindrances to my progression and my experience, and it was a massive map, massive world, and it was large expanses of just nothing, like just sand and dirt. Obviously, it's that part of the world. It is what it is. But there's ways that they could have made that a bit more of an enjoyable experience. So I do have my reservations, because this team, I believe, or it's the creative director from Origins who's doing Valhalla. So they're saying that we've learnt lessons, blah, 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 that whole speak. So we'll see. Proof is in the pudding. But I'm already like, like Vikings is the one I've wanted for so long, you know. And it's this one that I kind of gave up on. I think that actually the one thing that took me right out of Origins is it was around the same time where they were partnering up with Final Fantasy 15, and they're doing a lot of cross promotion where you'd have Assassin's Creed stuff, like a festival in Final Fantasy 15 that you can go visit. And I was playing Assassin's Creed Origins one night, and I was doing this side quests where this meteor fell out of the sky, and you go to where it landed, and it unlocks this quest of puzzles and a tomb and stuff. So you walk into this tomb, it's this mystical quest kind of thing, and I'm like, man, this is sick. I'm really enjoying this game. And it turns out that the main villain from Final Fantasy 15 pops out of this chamber of, like, you know, thanks for releasing me, and then he just buggers off into the sky. You know, and I was like, and I'm left with like a chocobo costume for my camel or whatever, and some weapons from Final Fantasy 15, and I just put the controller down. I'm like, the fuck did I just play? And I was totally removed from the world at that point. I was like, that just, I never went back to it. I'm like, no, I'm good. Like, I was totally far removed at that point as much that I just stopped playing the game completely. So there's been a number of years that have gone past now. So I am tempted to go back and maybe restart it or try and pick up where I left off. But that's the kind of stuff in these games where I think they need to draw the line on, of like, let's just put so much shit in it that doesn't make sense. It's not part of the world. It's not improving my experience within the story that they're trying to tell. And a lot of the side quests within Origins were pointless. Just like fetch quests or following things, or, you know, riding down the Nile River. Like, visually stunning. I don't mind any of that. Like, the traversal and everything in that game was great. and the world that they were trying to build. I was getting quite invested in it, but there was too much in it where I got to this point where I had to confront one of the villains, my next target, and I was like 5 levels away from getting there. And there was all these points in the map where I was like, all right, I need to do like 5 or 8 of these missions before I can go do this next story campaign mission. And I hate that. Like there was too much to it. But tying it back to Spider-Man, where I didn't feel any of that. Like my progression through the story wasn't hindered whatsoever. I was able to enjoy my experience. I didn't feel taken out at any point. So look, I'm hoping this next one doesn't have any of that, because like I mentioned, I'm severely looking forward to it. So I don't want to be disappointed again. But yeah, look, that's my rant on expectations for this next game. So do you guys have anything else that you wish to add to this conversation?
I think you said it all.
Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah.
Yeah, there's not much more you can add to it than that, to be honest. That's called a mic drop moment.
Yeah, it's an impassioned rant, and I get carried away. But no, that's good. At least we're all on the same page with that, and hopefully those that are watching are as well. Looking forward to seeing what people say, though. Like, if you have any differences of opinions, please leave them in the comments below. I know there's a lot of different Assassin's Creed games out there. Everybody has their favorite, so let us know, I guess, which one is your favorite and why you liked it, and what you hope to see from Valhalla. Because I like to talk about it.
So far, Odyssey. I think I'm enjoying Odyssey more than I have any other Assassin's Creed game, to be perfectly honest.
Oh, awesome. That's good. It does look pretty. I must admit, I'm tempted, because that whole, mythology of that part of the world and that time frame, it's fascinating and it's iconic and all that kind of stuff. And the game itself looks just amazing. But yeah, I don't think I can commit to it.
That's what frustrates me, because I love Greek mythology and I love that whole entire time period. So, but it just sucks every time I get in, and I'm just something just keeps knocking me back. But I will try at some point. There'll be a quiet time at this year, and I'll be able to. I'll probably play it while you guys are playing Cyberpunk. To be honest, it'll be one of those things where I'll be waiting on Cyberpunk.
Nice. I'm staring down The Witcher 3 at the moment, so that's the next big game on my list. So maybe I'll finish that in time.
Do Life
for
is
Valhalla
Strange first. At least play the
first.
first.
Those two, Life is Strange 1 and 2. That's my palate cleanser before I jump into another game like Witcher 3. That's my next big game on my list.
Maybe
so we'll see what I like about that one.
Don't waste your time with 2.
Oh, really? Okay.
After you've played 1, 2 will be a massive letdown.
Do 1 and we can do a spoiler room.
Right on. Cool. I'll get it done this weekend then, if it's not going to take up too much of my time.
And a case in point for anybody who's kind of coming back here regularly, we have discussed in the last week maybe doing something along the lines of, picking and singling out a game, like, say, a Cyberpunk or an Avengers or something that's due in kind of the next few months, coming up on release window, as to hidden things or things in it that we think may interest us. So what certain mechanics may be like and how we can see it kind of panning out, just as kind of a little palate cleanser to go along with spoiler room, as we don't often all play the same games, so those will be few and far between. So if anybody's got any interest in that, comment, leave us a suggestion of a game that's coming up that you'd like to hear us have a bit of a rant or discussion about. That'd be great.
Fabulous. Cool. Right on. Well, that was it. That was the last one we got to talk about on the list. So we can wrap this up now, can't we? Yeah? Sounds good?
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah? All right, cool. I didn't introduce myself at the
minutes for a change, so everybody can get rid of our faces for the week.
Oh, yeah. We'll be back here next week. You just watch. So, yeah, I didn't introduce myself at the top of the show. My name's Michael Chan. and we've got Dan and Jamie with me. And that's been us. That's been Let's Talk Games, episode 11. You can find our socials at the top of the screen or on our name tags below us. So follow us all on those socials and talk to us. I like communication, and I like when people talk to me and I wake up with notifications on my screen. It means someone's thinking
I work
about
in
me.
telecommunications, so yeah, telecommunications good.
Send me all the notifications. Cool. Righto, boys. Good conversation. Another one. Subscribe, all that shit. And catch you next week. Toodaloos. End conversation.
Bye.